Hi everyone, welcome to Wreaths by Marguerite. I'm Marguerite, the owner and designer of Wreaths by Marguerite. Today will be a little bit longer video, and it will not be released until after Christmas, or at least until after it's given to the person that's receiving it. This is a custom order for a cousin of mine, for her daughter, my second cousin. She loves neutral colors and she loves gnomes. So she gave me some ideas. She showed me some of the wreaths that I've made in the past that had similar ideas incorporated in them. And we went forward and this is what we came up with. She's thrilled with it and I'm thrilled that she's thrilled. So hang around and watch the tutorial and you'll see how we make this big, beautiful, fluffy, thick, very thick gnome wreath. Okay, there's a lot going on the table right now, but I will move some of it out of the way. We are using a, what is this, 20-inch pine green base, 20-inch white flocked green pine base. That's a mouthful, huh? Just lightly flocked. There are some that are more flocked, but we want to see a little of the green to still give it that kind of foresty look, like a gnome in the forest. And speaking of the gnome, he is our center of attention, and he determined the color scheme that we're going with after I got the go-ahead from my cousin on all the choices that I am going to use in this. We're doing definitely neutrals. I have two of the poofs on the frame already because I wanted to make sure it's what I wanted to do, because I pre-cut all my ribbon and making sure everything matches and everything flows back where this still stands out. So what I'm going to do is, first thing I did actually is I did flatten out the base a little bit. And this one actually has a hoop on the back where it's supposed to be hung back here. So we're going to try to stay as centered as we can so that she can actually use this hook to put this on the door or on a wreath hanger. If not, she can just hang it just to the side. It won't hurt anything. So I'm going to be writing as I go because this is considered a custom order. So I want to make sure that I get all the ingredients, as I call it, in the quote, because either way I'm making this because I love the idea as well. Flocked pine. Okay, so there's that. I'm using 8 ruffles on the outside and 6 on the inside. Having the even number of ruffles allows me to use an even number of each of these so that none of them are up against each other in the actual wreath. Odd numbers, you'd have to use all the same mesh. I've cut all the mesh. It's all 10-inch mesh, so they've all been cut at 24 inches in length. So you can see that there. And I'm going to show you how to ruffle it up using the woodland ruffle. And here's our guy. Try not to block the view too much. There's a lot on the table. I've already attached pipe cleaners on the back of him to attach him to the wreath. As you saw in the intro, he's going to go to one side with a nice big fluffy bow over here unless my cousin changes her mind, which that is totally fine. He's going to hang out over here till we get to that point of attaching him to the wreath. I have several elements that I plan to include in this. I've got these little icicle looking crystally things. I don't know what to call them. Do they say a name? It just doesn't. Decorative pick. And I've got some pines that are fairly heavily flocked with some pine cones. I'm going to use 3 of those. And then we have 2 of these sparkly and slightly flocked eucalyptus bushes. Then to add a little bit of pop of color, I've got these cute little pine cone and berry picks dispersed throughout. And again, I took the inspiration from the fact that he's got a little bit of berries and pine on his walking stick. So there you go. It all ties together. So I'm going to get some things out of our face so that we are not completely distracted by everything. I'm going to put the ribbon over here for a few minutes because it won't be long before we get to the ribbon. And I cut the ribbon tails all at, where's the third one? There it is. I cut all the ribbon tails at 14 inches in length, and these are all 3 2.5 inch ribbons so I can get good coverage. And then last but not least, these are the ribbon choices. Are they in the shot? Nope. Let me bring them forward. I've got that, which is also in the tails. I haven't decided if I'm going to use the ribbon with the branches in the bow. We'll see. Then that, which was also. So these three were the ribbon tails. And then I thought this would be good to give it a more natural look, more whimsy. And then I've got the burlap with the chenille. I don't know what you call that. Chenille. Just like what is in Snowball. Matches the Snowball in this mesh. And then this will just be an added center loop in the bow. So let me put that stuff back out of the way so we're not polluting our eyes with all the things at once, so you can concentrate on what I'm actually doing. So what I'm going to do is I've decided to put the striped top and bottom and then side and side, so that's 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then the snowball mesh will go in between each of those. Then I'll go ahead and see how full that gets. I've cut enough for 2 rows, 8 on the outside, 6 on the inside, but we'll see after the first 8 are on there if we need the coverage or not. I think I'm gonna do it. We'll see. So I'm figuring it out while we go as well. So let me get a drink so I'm not so dry. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to get all 4 of these in first. So let me put this back here and out of the way so we have some workspace. And this is going to be a little bit of a messy project because of all the flocking involved. So make sure you wear old clothes whenever you do stuff like that. And I definitely did today. Like I said, I cut these at 24 inches in length. I also like to use something to weigh it down. But since I'm using my phone today, I usually use the phone. I'm going to use these wire cutters. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create curls on each end, and I roll it about 4 to 5 times, and that is primarily for hiding the cut edges because what am I saying, the mesh frays, there's no avoiding it, and then the chip clip holds it down on the other end. And I am doing it upside down, meaning the curl is upwards, versus some of the other style of ruffles that we make. This is called the woodland ruffle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is easy to find the center on because it has the stripes that are centered. So that'll help me ruffle now. I'm going to ruffle to this end. All the way there. You can reach across the table to ruffle or pull it towards you as you ruffle it. Now it's nice and centered. So that one's there. I've got my little loop here, so I want to put it on the outer row. There's 2 rows to this type of pine wreath frame. I'm just going to put it in there and twist it once because we don't want to use up the whole pine tine on the mesh because we are putting ribbon in these. If we weren't, it wouldn't matter how many times you twist it. So that's those 2. So that means we want to go here and here for the next 2. And then we'll set this mesh aside to do the snowball mesh. So 1, 2, and if you notice, I gather from the outside when I roll it. That way I'm keeping my rolls consistent and centered so I don't end up with a point like this off on the side. You want it to even up. They do make mesh rollers now. You could also use the tube from the center of the mesh. Let me see, I have one like this. That would make a consistent, good sized roll. But I've been doing this a while, so I don't necessarily need the extra tools. And then gather it at the center. It's up to you. Again, that's a tool you don't have to buy. You just keep one of your rollers and you're good to go. Especially if you're just starting out. You don't have to have all the things. Okay, so this is from the top one. So this is the bottom one. Okay. When I say top and bottom one, I'm talking about the rings on the frame. Oh! Okay. Calm down, Marguerite. Alright, let's try that again over here. That one just wasn't long enough. So I was trying to make it do more than it was capable of doing. Sorry. Alright, so there's that. I'm going to turn it around and do the one on the opposing side. And set this aside for now. Put this over here to hold it down. See how curly it gets? Definitely keeps you from having to struggle so much while you're trying to roll and ruffle. With fighting it coming at you, rolling towards you while you're trying to do something. I know one of the people that I follow has a rock, like a river rock on her table that's like a pet rock kind of thing to hold down her mesh. Whatever's heavy enough. Don't go out and buy extra things if you don't need it. Alright, so we're going to come over here. I think I will use... Yeah, I'll use this one. That looks about right. And I'm basically making sure I center it between these two. Don't need two of them in there, I just need one. So doing it this way also allows you to see a little pop of the green, even if you put the ribbon tails in. So now it's time for the snowball mesh. Remembering to keep its curl side up. This is a little bit more sheer, which I like. You can see a little bit more of what's going on under it. Not a whole lot, but again, it gives it more... What am I trying to say? I'll think of it in a minute. Dimension, because it gives you different textures as well. Textures, that's probably the right word. Gives it more texture. And again, the mesh is easy to ruffle down the center because you have lines in the snowball to help you. So since you got the first 4 in, now you just have to put one of these in between each of those. So. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This side's just a chip clip. You don't have to buy special chip clip. I mean, special chip. Lordy. Special tools. Those are wire cutters. Most households have those anyway. Oh, 4. I did 4 everywhere, so I might as well stick with 4 rolls. Okay. Let's do this one. This one's got a lot more pine on the outside. It always amazes me how pretty they look, even when they're not even to begin with. Somehow it always works out. I'll go back over here. All mesh frays, so if you find any fray as you're going along, I recommend cleaning it up as you go along so you don't have to go back and try to re-roll that if I can. Now that I've messed it all up, there we go. Get that in there. So 5 probably would have been better rolling because it stays closed better. A lot of this is going to be covered. It's more of the foundation than anything for everything else to lay on. Just an added element. That works. 2. Don't need to roll it the 5 times. Just need to make sure that 4 rolls are tight enough so they don't pop out like that. Get in there. And then ruffle it at the center. Okay, I think the longer 2. That one there. Like I said, we're just wrapping it around 1 time so that we have plenty of room in it for What am I doing? Here we go. The ribbon tails. Is that all of it? Or did I miss one? 1, 2, 3. This one needs to come over just a touch. It's a little bit too far. I think that's the first one I put in too. Let's try here. This is a little bit better. It's more centered as well. And really, if you can't get them to be long enough, you can undo the twist when it's time to put the ribbon in. Tuck that in there. Alright, so I want to stand up and look at it. I think I need to do the second row. Yeah, I'm going to do the second row of mesh. As you can see, I'm covered in white flocking. 'Tis the season. It's either flocking or it is glitter. And ask my dog what it thinks. Might as well stick with these and do those next. So these are going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to do, let me think about this for a second. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. I want to do 2. I might be doing 8 again. I might be cutting a couple more. Let's see what we got going on here. Plus it's sticking to the 2 band-aids on my hand because my hands are tore up from the season. But it's a good thing. Just means I've been busy. Let's see. Turn it around. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 more pieces of each when we get out of this. So I will place them, so these will be across from these. That means I'll need to make 2 more sets of ribbon tails as well. So okay. So that will go here. We'll get all these in first. That's just being a pain in the butt. It keeps popping open, so I'll use these because they have a lock on them that works. You can take a break, wire cutters. Now, it curls up a lot more on these few pieces because they were from the inside of the roll. So the curls are tighter. So that if you notice, they were fighting me a little bit. Do these right here. And this right here. Right like that. I haven't decided on the ribbon tails for the center. We'll see. Okay, so that goes there, and that will go there. This style will go there. So we need one here. It almost just curls itself, but I want it tighter than it curls on its own. When I'm concentrating and doing something that I haven't planned out totally, I tend to be a little quieter. Depending on who you are, that's a good thing or a bad thing. Okay. And I need 1 more for there, so let's go ahead and put these in first. I'm going to start right here. Just remember the pine is an accent So you're just wanting to see bits and pieces of it here and there. You could make it more open with less embellishment, but go on. Okay. I'm holding it loosely in the center because sometimes you have to adjust it to get it even on both sides of your hand. Is this the one I want? This one here. Yeah, this will be a great contrast to the gnome. It will totally stand out against this. Yes, I like it. I like it a lot. So there's that. So now it's time to put one here. Having all this extra mesh also makes it a little poofy. All this chopping of fray off is completely normal. I noticed that you have to do it more on the mesh that's much looser weaved. This is my favorite. This is my favorite ruffle. I don't think there's anything that I need a ruffle on anymore that I do other than this way. I like it so much. It's pretty, first of all. And second of all, it's the best way to hide the cut edges because, like I keep saying, mesh frays, it just is the nature of the product. There's no avoiding it. Okay, so we're going to go here. Yep. Lay this down. Just had my hand on it. I'm going to leave that there for now because this piece is super curled. So this will be directly across from that one. Right there. I had it. There we go. You see any open hole where you can see through to the bottom? Just spread out some of the line. I'm going to set this over here for the moment while I make two more. Try to keep the supplies nearby when I'm not sure where I'm headed. Let's do a little cleanup. I haven't vacuumed yet, so there we go. Try to keep a clean workspace. Let's this back out. I don't need another pair of scissors, Marguerite. I think this should be enough. Okay, let's see what we got going. Magnets. It's good to have a nice size workspace, even with as big as mine is. Sometimes it's not enough. Okay, so 24 inches. Alright. Set that there. I don't think we're going to need another piece, but is that even enough to make anything with? Let me check. If it's at least 20 inches, I'll keep it because I know I have another roll of this. So I will use that. Now, for the sake of the video, we will not be gluing anything together because I want a final approval from the person that I'm making this for, my cousin. What I realized doing this project too, I don't have a lot of naturals in my ribbon selection. Okay, what's that all about? That one's too small. So, That will be my goal next year. To make sure I have a lot more neutrals. Is this 24 inches, I hope? Yep. Perfect. Waste not, want not, right? That's how I'm able to keep my products affordable. I'll find the tag later when I'm not looking for it. A lot of people put the tag in the center of the bowl, which is a good idea. I just haven't taken the time to do that with everything. Okay, so that was what we needed. Put that in there and bring the wreath back. And then I'm going to decide if I want it to be round or oval. I think we're going to go with round. I don't know yet. Alright, so that means that I should do this one next. She did give me discretion on that, which is awesome. She gives me discretion on a lot of things, but I try to go oval if I've got a longer attachment, and he's not really long. So I think I'm just gonna stay with my gut and go with the round. I think it'll suit this wreath the best. Let's see. There's the long one. This is completely normal to have to take threads off. Just remember that. Don't be afraid of doing it. Okay, this one's decided, wire cutters have decided they don't want to stay closed anymore either. It is what it is. Get that in there. I'm going to leave it on there for now because it's curling like crazy. There we go. Sometimes the chip clip isn't enough. And we will do the last set of ribbon tails when we get to the point where we run out. Curl that back up. Alright, so now it's time to put our ribbon tails in. Let me refold these. I have them folded with the finished side on the inside of the ribbon tail because, just because. You can do it either way, but be consistent. I'm ruffling up the center, and then I'm pulling the tails down towards me. I remember again, I cut these at 14 inches in length. I'm going to start with the outside ruffles. You won't see what I'm doing right off the bat. I'm going to do that a couple times and then lay the... I twisted it a couple of times, and then I laid one piece of the pine tine on each side of the ribbon. And now I'm going to lift, separate, and position, running my fingers over them as I go. And on the second side, I'm going to do opposite. So the branches ribbon will be at the top, and the braided ribbon will be down at the bottom. And I like to turn it as I'm working on it so I can get a good grip on my ribbon. Of course, it has a mind of its own. We'll go back in the end and fluff it as well. Now, it doesn't matter on this design whether I put it in every other or not, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because that's consistency on my part. And then I'll go back and do the ties in between. So I'm just putting it in there, laying it in there, and tightening up the pine tines, and then positioning them. Let me show you once I get a section done what that looks like. I'll go ahead and go back and do this one so I can show you the first three. Ruffle, pull the ends to the edge of the table, and then, oops, put it in the pine tine, twist a couple times, press down the pine on each side of the ribbon, gives it like a little fluff of pine. Definitely pull on it to get it loose from the base where the pine is. Just don't pull it too much or you will end up putting too much on the ribbon on one side, not the other. Let's see, so let me show you what I got so far. See that? I can bring it down a little bit more. See what I've done there? Okay. Now I will continue. It's got a mind of its own for sure. All ribbon does. Ribbon mesh the whole lot. Okay, I don't know why I have them all over here. I'm using them all. Quit reaching over behind your back, Marguerite. There we go. Ruffle up the center. And yes, I'm a little bit more serious probably than you're used to seeing because customs I really concentrate because I want to give them what they want, what they've asked for, what's going to fit their image of what they were looking for. Okay. A lot of makers do put their ribbon tails on the top and then work their way to the outside, claiming that there's less chance of snagging things. Yes and no. I'm going to say yes or no. Not always. I'm more comfortable doing it from the bottom up. I'm going to skip. Since I started this way, I'm going to keep doing it this way, I think. I have changed my mind. I'm not going to go around every other first. Designer's prerogative. This polyester ribbon has a little bit more of a mind of its own. It's the one with the branches. That's why I didn't want to use it in the bow necessarily. Again, we'll see. Okay. It works great for the ribbon tails. I'm going to skip that one and do this one. I'm doing a little skipping around. I'm putting every other in and then going back and placing the one in between. Hopefully that makes sense. So I did that one, skip that, do this, then I'll go back and do this. Perfect. She likes the branches. Now I know the answer to my question. If you heard that ding, that was because I'm answering the last question I had for now. I miss seeing my family. When we get older like this, we don't see each other like we used to. This is the side of the family that I grew up with nearby. They were in Phoenix and we were in Southern California area. I say Phoenix because most people don't know exactly where the other communities are in the Phoenix area that I would say. Alright. So, she's a creative too. She does different things than I do though. Put that in there. Almost done with the first layer. This is going to be great all the way. Yay, those choices are all good. Yay. This will be great all the way through the winter months, too. It's nice because there's nothing that specifically says Christmas on it. So she'll be able to leave it up a little longer. Okay, this is the last one on this layer, and then we'll do the top. Let me show you what I got so far. Okay. Lift and separate the ribbons. Place them where you want them. Run your fingers over the edge. And turn the volume off on the phone because now we don't need to hear all the dinging. I could have waited until I had all my answers, but I wanted to get started. What can I say? I've been really excited about this. She approached me to make this. I can't remember if I said it in the introduction. Back in the early summer, so we started ordering all the pieces so that I had everything I needed to when I could work on this. So there is the first layer's ribbon tails. Doesn't look like a lot right now, but it will when we get done. It's all gonna flow really well. On the top layer, I'm not gonna do the V. I'm gonna spread it out more. Lay that down. And on the top layer, I don't usually do it the same as the bottom. So we have an even number of ties. Every other ribbon tail collection will have the branches facing out, and every other will have the branches facing in. And you'll see that in just a minute. Give it a little bit of curl with the hands. Alright, so I'm going to skip that one for now, and I'm going to do this one the same as the bundle I just did. Still kind of iffy on whether I should make it oval or not. Once I get all the ribbon in, I'm going to stand up and make the final decision. So lift, separate, place. Lift, separate, place. Position. Place, position, something in my head. Notice I'm turning the wreath a little bit, working on each side. I want to make sure the ribbon's facing up. It gets a little gathered and poofy like a pocket at the base of the ribbon. Sometimes you have to spend a little extra time poofing it out. So there's that. So you see both of these have the braided towards the inside. So now we're going to put it so that the braided is towards the outside. That is it. There it is. So now it will be lift, separate, place, position that way, and that will go. Curl it a little. See how this is outside and that is inside? Just a little bit of little pine sticking out. So got three. Got 3 to go on the top. No, I added 4. Added, so there's 4 of each. Okay. So that means we skip this one and go here. So this will have branches outward. So lift, separate, placement. Lift, separate, placement. So after we do the ribbon tails, I'm going to decide if we're going to stick with the oval or a round or go with the oval. There it is. could have V'd them a little bit. They're pretty close. Then you'll get to see me cut the ribbon. You want to see all the steps of prepping the materials. You can go back to some of my earlier videos in 2024 where I show you how to cut every single piece of ribbon. If this is something you want to do yourself. So let's skip this one and go here. And then it's time to make the ribbon tails again. Okay, so it's going to be this one. So this should have the branches out. Go braided in. Alright, let me set it over here again while I do that. Look at my legs! I'm covered! You probably can't see them, but I think that's probably futile to try to get it off. I'm going to have to take them outside later and shake them off. I do need to clean the table again. It's a messy proposition. Alright, and I have my ribbon tails boards. These are boards from hotmeshmom.com. They make them in, these are 14-13 inch. They make them in 12-11 and 10 and 8. Did I ever get the little ones? I'm not sure. And this just really helps you cut mass quantities at the same time. And since I did 14-inch tails, I'm going to do 14-inch. You just need 2. It works better when you're doing a lot. Just 2 is kind of a waste of the board, but I'm going to do it anyway. Actually, I'm not. I've changed my mind. I'm going to just use the table. Let me get this cut in half. But yeah, when you have a bundle of like 14 ribbon tails, you just cut on each end, and then you're cutting all 14 at the same time. It takes a lot less time. It really does cut back on your time. Because otherwise you're doing what I'm doing right now. Cut 1 with the table measurements. Cut 2. See how much more time that would take rather than just rolling it around the tail board? That out of the way. Like I said, I always fold them with the print on the inside. The finished side, as it's called. I feel a little klutzy today, so if you notice that too, at least we're on the same page. I have another roll of this ribbon, so I will go grab it when it's time to make the bow. I'll probably take a break between the base and the bow. Out of the way again. And get these all prepped. And then we can bring the wreath back over and fill it in. Yeah, that's going to be just enough green to show through. I like it. So we take it folded side down on the table and we cut from the new fold to the tip of the wire at a 45-degree angle. That way we don't accidentally cut it into 2 smaller pieces. With that technique, I find that it helps keep people on track so they don't accidentally... I teach classes in person so they don't accidentally turn it like this. If you put the folded side down, you know you're going to be cutting on the correct end of the ribbon. You just got to make sure your fold is nice and crisp, and you fold it in half wire to wire evenly so you don't end up with different size V's on each side of the center. Okay, I'm going to make my bundles. I call this, I think it's called batching, where you get everything cut and ready and prepped because it saves you time in the long run when you're not stopping and starting to do things like I just had to do to make 2 extra sets of tails. Trash, bring the trash back over too. So where were the ones I missed? Here and here. Okay. So these are the final 2. I'm really excited about this. I'm going to go in, that way it's nice and layered over each other. 1 more to go after this one. Those little poofs of greenery in there. So this is going to have braided side down towards me, so separate, lift, separate, and position. Lift, separate, and position. Pop those little bubbles at the gathers out. Do the same thing on this side. Bring that down. Bring that down and place that there. So then that means that this one here is the last one. Let me put these down here a little. This goes in the middle, Marguerite. There we go. Let's do this one. Last but not least, then I'll stand, tuck it in. So this is going to be lift, separate, position, straighten it out, curl it up a little, try to pop those bubbles out as much as it'll let you. And separate. Okay, so let me stand up. Give you a good look at that. And then, normally I would figure out which side looked the best. They all look the best. But this is the top center, so 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So the little man's going to go right here. So it's time to decide and commit. And I think, standing up and looking at it, I think him right here with the bow right here is going to be perfect because we have all that added greenery to put in as well. Okay, so how am I going to put this in? Well, I have these cool looking plastic embroidery needles that are 6 inches long. You can try to pull the pipe cleaners through the frame without this, but it's a struggle. It's a struggle moment. So, a long time ago, I watched another creative do this. So, I'm going to make sure that he's right about here. I think right here is good. Yeah. And we're going to go in on either side of that pine tine that's holding that ribbon bundle together. Put this on one side, and then I'm going to pull the needle off. Can I see it or do it too soon? I did. I needed to attach it to something before I let it go because these are shorter. I would ideally use 20-inch pipe cleaners, but they don't make them in all the colors yet. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to kind of quickly attach it somewhere so that it doesn't get sucked back up into the wreath before I have a chance to tie it off. And then this end's going to go on the other side. I'm going to have to glue that in place because it keeps moving. You want to see the berries up front. Okay. Note to self, but that's way later. first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to smush everything a little bit, but it's a necessary evil. So there's that one. I didn't get it on the right side of the frame. Use that needle to get it back over here. So I want one side of the pipe cleaner on each side of the middle frame. There we go. Really helps to have that. I won't tighten this up completely yet. I want to see how it looks over here. Because I want it to sink in a little bit, but not a ton. I want it to look nestled. So that means there's the other two. I'm going to put them around that one. I think. I'm fussing with the ribbon too much. I need to stop. There that is. Okay, so let's do this side. And put one side on each side of the pine. One there. Wrap it around the needle. Where is it? Where's the needle? Got lost? Okay, we don't want it that far out. We want it over there. Okay. Let me see if I can do this one-handed now. What to do. This here. And it might go through the mesh. It's not a big deal to get it positioned correctly. See if that was on the needle enough. Oh, barely. Okay, different ones. Let's see how many things we can throw on the floor. I'm just trying to get a grip on it here. Okay. Tools everywhere. Okay, so let's turn it over. I'm going to put it on each side of this crossbar. What I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little tongue, because remember we want it to sink in but not look sucked in. Nestled. We want it to nestle. We'll leave it there right now. Put that behind him. Put his wired little hat to that direction a little bit. I think we'll leave it round for sure. Nice size bow. And then one of these will go here. Remembering to spread out the elements. Gives it dimension as well. So he's going to go in here. Maybe. He's going to go in here. And it'll probably be one of these guys on top of it. I need to take the tag off. They really buried them. You know, Hobby Lobby has great tags, but they're also a curse. Because they always put them in the most difficult place to put them on, or if they have them on too tight, they stick to the stem, and that's a pain. So that's that. So that's going to go in there. Right next to that, we'll glue that in later. So that gives it a little pop of color there. See what I'm saying? Just a little bit. And once I get this glued in place, that'll stand out as well. So that means I'm going to take the other two move these around a little bit, giving it texture. Want that back. So that's there. I'm going to do 3, so one will go there. Make sure, where was that pipe? There's that one. Make sure it's sticking up. So this will go right about 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Again, it's trying to give it that balance and symmetry, and then these guys will go in there. Again, with the tags on the inside, Hobby Lobby, I'm making this more difficult than it needs to be. So this will go there. Some of these are coming apart and I haven't even touched them. I got it fixed. Plus, once we get the glue on it later, that will really keep it all together, because it won't be going anywhere. Okay, so then I want to use these eucalyptus. See, they put these on a clear band. They should do this with the other ones too. I can leave them consolidated, or I can split them. Yeah. I think we're going to do that. That way we get more spread out. So this can go here. I'll show this to you in a minute. So there's 8. You hear noise. That's my dad moving around the house. Don't think I'm going to put red berries in each. We'll see. Well, that's 4. So that means this side. I might still stick like in between. I haven't decided yet. Let's take a look. Since we're not committed yet anyway. Oops. I need these still. Put these here. Got those there, and I got those there. Okay. These don't really spread, but it'd be nice to split up the eucalyptus a little bit. So I think I'm going to try that. Okay. So, just there. So if we do, yeah, I think this is going to work best. Because I can put this one here. Oh, I'm going to like that. That's going to work well. Let's go here. Split them up. I like the ones you can take apart and make multiple stems out of. So that and there. And then over here, it'll be one here. That's the perfect number too, I think. I don't know. Let's see. So it'll go here actually, and I have one extra, I believe. And then I can put 2 of those. That's the good part about not committing with the glue yet, is if I want to change it, I can. Because I'm thinking, let's see, do this here. This can go in here. This should go here. See, what do I have left? I have lots of these. I only have 2 out, but I ordered 20 because you just never know. And these are extremely affordable. This can go, probably put it through the pine. Put one on the other side. Oh, I think I have one more of that heavily flocked. Check. So this one will go there once I get it in. I have 2 of these. So I can do this here. And this one here. I'll cut off the stems a little more. Let's see. Oh, I have one more of these yet. Do I want to put it there? Or maybe right there. Because the bow can go right here. And this can stick out a little more. Do we want to do any more of those? So on each side, so that would be over here. Sweep this up, and I'll show you what we got. All this little ice looking stuff. Don't eat on the floor because El Doggo will think it's something to eat. That's where we are so far. And I will be back in a minute to start the bow. Okay, it's time to make the bow. Everything was approved so far. So the first thing I like to do is I like to figure out what order I want my ribbon to be in. I think I'm going to go with this on the bottom, so that will help it stand out. And then I think we're going to go with this. Let me see, I'm going to do 2 loops of each, I think, or yeah, 2. So I think I'm going to do it this way, because these will be next to each other, and these 2 will be next to each other, and then these 2 will be next to each other. Yeah, so that's how we're going to do it. So that goes there, and then this will be the center on the top. So let's get started. Now I got to decide the size of the loops. I think we're going to go with at least a 7-inch loop, maybe more. Let me take a look. First, I'm going to go with a 14-inch tail. Twist, put it in there. Let's start with 7-inch, and then I'm going to bring that wreath back over here. It still needs to be glued down. I am moving the gnome a little more towards the center. He's a little bit too far over to the edge. So this will give you the 14-inch span on the loops to start with. So let me see what this is going to look like. Pushing that in. I'm going to make another 14-inch tail. Pull this out and see how that looks on the wreath. Bring the wreath over. So yeah, once he's over here more, don't want it to really go much farther than the edge of the wreath. I think that'll be perfect. Okay, so I need to turn the glue gun on now that we've got commitment. All right. Got ribbon coming down everywhere at me. This goes here. Turn that on so it's nice and warmed up when the time comes. Sit. Okay, don't sit. Sit. There we go. Okay, let me put this back in there. So 14-inch tail, 14-inch tail, 2 7-inch loops. Okay. Make sure I didn't mess that up when I was handling it. Go here just a touch more. Okay, my spool holder. Try to keep a clean workspace. Not always successful. Okay, this is going to be fun. I'm going to make these a little longer. I'm going to make these like 18 inches long because I'm going to have to fold up the ends to keep them from and then I fold that over a few times just to make sure that those cut edges are just not. Well, 16's enough now that I went ahead and folded it already. We're going to do it right there where one of the cross lines go in the weave. Turn it. You don't really have to turn it. It does look different on both sides. So you definitely have a right side and a wrong side on this. So I'm going to put this a little longer because I might kind of give it a wave like that when I have it in the wreath. I can always cut some off, but I can't add any. So this is going to be the same size loop as the other one. Push that down in there and then twist it on the opposite side of the post so I have the right side up. This needs to go out a little bit more. There we go. this one will go up and this one will go down. So on that side, that one goes up and this one will go down. Okay. Stop right there. Ruffle it down in, gather it, ruffle it. So that's nice and neat. So I'm going to go out here. Because I'm going to bring it over here and fold it again. I think I'm going to do 3, maybe 4 times. 3. Did I do 3 or 4? Did it 3 there, so let's stick with the 3. There's that. And I have one out, so I have the woven out, window pane, snowball, then window pane, snowball. So the next one, get low on this. I actually have been using it, so I'm going to need to get another rule next year. Get that in there. So that means this one is next. We're going to go with the 14-inch tail again. Now if it needs to be shorter, at least I can cut it off again. You know, you can't add to it, but you can certainly take some off. So that's on the inside with that loop. And I think I'm going to, I'm going to leave it at the bottom. So these will be 6-inch loops. I'm going a full inch between each layer of ribbon. So the snowball and the window pane are the bottom layer. It's got a lot of white, so I probably should, I'll leave it down there for now. Once we put the bow on the wreath, if I want to move them opposite, I can. Okay, so this again, 6 inches on this side. And I don't flatten it because I don't want to put a crease in the bow, but I put my finger in there, and that usually helps me keep it on track as far as length. Even on both sides is what I'm getting at. Now I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go down here with this one. Yeah, I like that. And then we're going to do the 14-inch tail again. And it's basically out there. So it's, you know, on the opposite end. The tail it is. Alright, so it's time for the branch ribbon. She gave it a go. So we're going to go with it. It's a little wrinkled on the rules. Not wrinkled, but the wire gets placed in a peculiar fashion. So it just gets the wrinkling out of the ribbon to do this. I'll do it on the other end when I get to that. So again, we're going to do 14 to start. Gather it, twist it, so the finished side is up on the first tail, and the finished side, printed side, is face down on the first loop. So this will be 6. You know, I like that. This is going to go centered over the window pane. Polyester ribbon has a little bit of a mind of its own. I think I'm going to go down to 5.5. I can fix that on the, because I want to see a little more of that window pane. And since we decided to go with 3 and then 1, so technically the first 3 are 1 layer. And the branches are the second layer. In placement. It's the 4th ribbon, but it's the center for the second layer. So 5.5. See how difficult this is being for me? I can fix it. I can fix it. And let's go over here, because that's the second one. I might have this a little longer than 14 inches, but it's also the end of the roll, so it's super curly. I had a pen, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So let me put this down. Take this out to get that little bit of wrinkle out that's on that end. Place it back in there. So 5.5 is basically right there. Gather that down. Bring this tail down here. Yeah, I like that. I like it, I like it. So you got that there. Yeah, so 5.5 inches. Fix that. All right. I like that. So now we're going to go back in. I think I'm going to do 2 of these. So that's 4. 2 on each side, that is. First thing I got to do, I'm going to even this out. It's a little rough on the end. And then I'm going to fold it at least 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And this one's definitely going to be 16 inches long. I gathered it and I'm twisting it so the right side is up. Yeah, this is going to get to be really curly. And we're doing 4. Just the window pane, I think, gives it a little bit of whimsy. That's my story and I'm sticking to it, right? So this will be the same size as the branches. So 5.5 inch loop, but we're doing 2 on each side. Press it down and then twist it on the opposing side. I'm going to put that one up, that one's down. So then this one will go up. And you see the ribbon underneath of it. It's so because it's so transparent. I think that balances it out nicely. There we go. So that'll be up there. Play with it more once it's done. I'm going to cut this a little long so that I can fold it up. Turn it upside down so I can fold it. Oop. That's better. Oh, it's just giving me fits. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. 1, 2, 3. That goes there like that. And then we've got 2 more to go. Needs to be a nice size ribbon because this is just a beautiful large wreath. And I lost my pins again, you guys. Never fails. That's why I have a drawer full. And this I've never used before, but it matches perfectly. 2 different stores, but they match perfectly. Just goes to show you all the ribbon probably comes from the same place. This is ever so slightly different. That's what's nice, it gives it more character. That was the word I was trying to think of earlier. Character. This was 16. And this is just going to be 2 loops. About a 4.5 inch loop. Yeah, 4 inch looks good. So you can see enough of the branch ribbon. Where's that marking? There it is, hiding. I could eyeball it, but you know, I like to be more precise than that. And this is a little longer than the ones underneath as well because it's going to get curled. This one I know I don't have a pin for, so there's that. Now the final question is, do I want to use this one or not? She didn't want gold in the other ribbons, so let me see what I can find. She didn't like the polka dots with the gold. What do I got in a thin ribbon? Over here, real quick. Be right back. I think cream or burlap. Well, that doesn't have wire in it, does it? See how this looks. Is this wired? It is wired. Okay, I wasn't sure. I think this will look nice on the top. I have an uneven floor, so I'm just fighting to get my chair back to the table. First world problems, right? So yeah, this has got wire in it. Ooh, I always forgot about that. Glad I cleaned up my studio. Yeah, I like that. That'll be pretty. Goes along with that open weave really nicely. Cut these at an angle. That's going to be nice. Nice. So now it's time to get all this stuff out of the way. Put a pin in there so I can concentrate on final assembly. Okay. I've already lost my zip tie. Nope, it's right there. Blend it in with the table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this up and over the ribbons and I'm going to secure it before I take it out of the frame. The bow maker, that is. And then I have to decide what color pipe cleaner I want to use to attach it to the wreath. I'm looking at burlap because I have the 20-inch burlap ones. So I'm going to tighten this down some more, bring it around the back. Yes, I'm going to mush the loops a little bit. I think I'm going to go with the beige. Which one? I'm going to throw pipe cleaners everywhere probably today. Shoe holders are great for holding pipe cleaners. Here's a 20-inch. That'll make it easier to feed through the back of the wreath itself too. So let me stand back up. And I'm not going to fluff it out a whole lot until I get it in the wreath. And I definitely won't be cutting the tails till it's in the wreath. So nice and long. Tighten that up most of the way. I'm going to hold it by the pipe cleaners and the zip tie to fluff everything out. Get all my tails down towards the bottom because they traveled upwards. Position this at an angle like that. Helps to hide the mechanics of the zip tie. This is there. This up here. This is in the center. This is the center. What am I doing? This goes up here. Which goes there. That goes there. Okay, I fluffed it a little more than I said I was gonna. Okay, so now I'm gonna tighten up this zip tie some more so that it's not moving. And we're gonna bring the wreath back over here. And I may or may not be moving that gnome, so we're going to keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm going to bring him over a little bit. So before I put the bow on, I'm going to commit with all of my picks, which means I'm going to have to trim them out a little bit too. All right, let's see what we got here. It was on. Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe it wasn't. All right, well, I'm going to take a break and we'll be right back till when it's heated up. Okay, so the glue gun seems to be ready. So we're going to go ahead and get some glue on this. Get all these attachments in there. I'll probably have to trim them a little bit as we go. We wiggle it around when we put in there so that it attaches nicely to what's in there, which in this case I'm going to put it through the pine, tine, try not to burn myself. So this has 2 picks here, so I'm going to cut that back a little bit shorter. Okay, I prefer the other ones when I have to do these thick ones. Just seems to work better. Okay, so let's put some here and on the front, and then get it in there and make sure it attaches itself to the pine. Cut a little off the end of this. It's going to go to one side into that pick. Right in there, gives that a little accent. Cut that a little bit more. See, I'm wiggling it a little bit. And cut that a little bit more. Give it enough glue. Yes. Okay. This one has 2 in it. Okay. Some back here and on the front. A glue pot would be good for the picks too, but I'm more comfortable with the glue gun. All right. Glue strings, that's normal. When I use glue, I tend to get quiet too. That could be a little shorter. and not on the hand. Alright, so I'm gonna be careful here because we're pulling this out. I think maybe I ought to pull this out first. Ooh! May have to get the stem cutter out. Oh, it came out. There it is. Do both of them out. Oh, it helped to take that out. Okay, so those will go there. But I think I'm going to take this out first, so I don't accidentally glue him in the wrong place. Okay, what did I do? Did I go too far? No. Pardon my head, guys. There we go. Alright, dude, you're moving. You get in a new location. Okay, so where was I? That one's in there. So, stop hitchhiking. That's in there. So that means we'll fix this ribbon after a while. Let's make sure the hook is right there. So that means this goes right in here. In here. And this right in there. Alright. I'm also going to glue these in. I am going to open up the pine tine so that I can wrap it in here. Glue stick. That ain't going anywhere. Wrong one. That one gets hidden with his head. I was like, why isn't there anything in that one? Duh, Marguerite. Yeah, because this is going to be hidden. Keep losing the top. There's the top. So yeah, that will be hidden. Let me get these other ones in. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to open up the pine tines, and that way they have something good to hold on to. See, I'm just wrapping it over it, wiggling it around. Where did this come from? Oh, duh. Right there. I'm all right. this one in? Nope. Get that tag off. Cut that down a little. I think I'm going to need another berry, because since I did them on all of these, I want to be consistent. This will be hidden, so I'm not worried about it being in the pine tine. Where did I put the... There. See, I told you I bought a few. Tag out of the center. Cut the tip off. Put that there. I think this is the last one. Yes. Open that up a little. Alright, so I'm going to put, where'd the hoop go? There it is. I'm going to put the bow on now. This will go right there. I think it should go right there. Because then that way you can still see this stuff above it. Yeah. Where'd the needle go? Well, let's grab another one. Where are they? Can't buy one at a time. You gotta buy big old packs. I'm gonna go with the orange this time. And I will put this on either side of the bundle. There. Not fighting with it being too thick with these wider, longer pipe cleaners. Okay, I find it on the back. Oh, perfect. There's a post crossbar right there. Not too super tight. And just an FYI, the reason I like these red berry picks so much is they're not styrofoam. They're a harder plastic, so they're less likely to break. The other kind that are styrofoam are pretty, but they break too easily. And then you see the inside styrofoam, and that's not pretty. We'll do the bow last. So it's time to bring Mr. Gnome back to his home. So cute. And then once I get him in, I'm going to glue this down a little bit better so it stays in place. So, he's going to go here. Yeah, I can sit down for this too. Actually be easier to do it from this angle. So I'm going to put one on each side of this. Now you can see why I didn't put any embellishments in that one. I could still put something. It doesn't need it. Put that in there. Make sure it's on each side of the post, which it's not, so let me fix that. That's the nice thing too about this plastic embroidery needle. It is flexible, so if I have to bend it a little bit to get it around, I can. Alright, so let's get this tied off. I'm finishing it up on the back so I don't have to come back. So get that up and into the pine. Let's fix this ribbon. This ribbon goes here. And this one goes here. Here I go, fussing before I should. Habits that are hard to break. Okay. So now, I need to stand. So that goes there, and that goes right there. Okay, perfect. It's just easier to sit to get the angle to pull these through and make sure you're doing it in the right place. Okay. So one's going to go over there on the side of the bar, side of the centering of the pipe frame, pine frame, not pipe. What am I thinking? No pipes on this. What is this? Oh, it needs to come up here. And here. There we go. Glue string. Okay, so let's get that off. I'm holding it with my one finger on my one hand in place while I go back and do the other. We definitely don't want it to go through the ribbon, so make sure you're not poking the needle through the ribbon. Where's it at? It's hiding from me. Oh, where are you? There it is. Why are you all the way over there? Okay. I need this to help pull it. Come on, dude. You need to be here. Ow! Don't do that, it hurts, right? Okay, so get him nice and secure. Yep. Tuck that up in. There we go. Alright, I'm going to glue his walking stick a little bit better. Hold it in place while it cures. It's not going anywhere now. Got this little bag of goodies. Okay, so now time to play with the ribbon. Okay, Everything is secure. I'm going to put dovetails in the ends. Turn this off. I think we're good. I'm going to get some of this mess. It's bugging me. Out of the way. So I can concentrate. I'll pick up all those glue droplets in a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Remembering not to take my ribbons beyond the outer edge of the frame, the pine frame. So then we were going to have these. I talked about putting a little bit of a ruffle in them. So I'm going to go up here and down and there. And then this one. There. Give it a little bit of curl and put that back over there. I'm going to put that one on the outside. This one should go out here. I think I need to take this one back out where I had it, because we don't want to have the same next to each other, right? This is going to get a curl. I don't know about that one yet. We'll see. I get little ringlets, so to speak. Maybe I'll leave that the way it is, yeah. Put that down there. And then this one will be next to it. But I need to turn it over. That one's already cut. So that means this one's next. I'll hold it up just one more time. Get back over here. And this one should be that way. And this one should be, goes out here a little bit more. Do I want to curl it? Let's see what it looks like curled. I can always uncurl it. Oh, yeah, kind of like that. If she gets it and doesn't want it curled, she can always uncurl it and just leave it straight or wavy. This will definitely get curled. But I gotta fold up the ends a little. That one off. Do this one. That one's kind of done. Should go there. Let's do this one. I have to say, I'm in love with this thing. I hope they will be as in love with it as I am. I always tell myself I need to do more neutrals, and I just don't. right. Fluff this bow. Make sure all the ribbon is out right. And then we'll do the shake test to make sure all of the embellishments are attached well. Put that behind him a little bit. That'll be cute. Let's do a shake test. Nothing's coming out. See, it's a pine behind. And then I'm going to bring it here to show you. Let me get everything out of the way. And there it is. Finished. Okay, this sure is a doozy. It's heavy too with this pine base. I am just in love with this wreath, and I'm so happy that they are happy with it as well. It's always fun to make stuff for family members, and I know it will be appreciated. By now, I'm sure it's hanging up. And what's nice about it is that it's not just Christmas. It can certainly be through the winter months as well, so you don't have to have a naked door. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today while I worked on this project. I really enjoyed having you here with me. I know your time is valuable, and the fact that you spend some of your time and carve out some of your day to spend with me while I make pretty things is very much appreciated. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. It's free. You'll get notifications whenever new videos are coming out. And of course, they come out every Sunday at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can also find me on other social media channels, including Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. I do not do TikTok, and then all of my finished product that's available for sale is in my Etsy shop. In every situation, it's Wreaths by Marguerite when you go looking for it. So thanks again for joining me today. We'll see you in the next tutorial. Have a great day. Bye-bye.